Okay, hello everybody. My name is Adair, and welcome back to the Python camp. So this is our extra day 11, and so today we're just gonna finish up that program we were building last camp, and once that's done, we're gonna say that's it. So let's actually just get straight into it. So let's look at the code we wrote last time. Let's just review it quickly, and then once we're done with that, I want to show you one thing, and then we're gonna finish up this program. So, of course, if we remember the program, quick summary is that Bob wanted us to build a quiz for him. The quiz needed to have random questions. The order that we saw the question should have been random. And then on top of that, we also need to receive a letter grade at the end. So let's look at the code we have so far. So remember, Q1, Q2, Q3, these represents basically all the questionnaires, and then they're assigned to a list which contains the question and then the actual answer. So Q1, A1, Q2, Q represents question, A represents answer. So that's how we set. And then now we have a larger question bank. So we just call this the entire bank. And in there, it's assigned to a list again, and it's Q1, Q2, Q3, which is all of these variables over here. So this variable is basically assigned a list, and that list holds other lists as well, right? And then we also created used questions because remember, we're only going to pull out 2/3 of those questions. We're not going to use all the questions in question banks. We're just going to pull out 2/3. And then we're also going to, I created correct answers because we're going to use that for later when we're keeping a track of his marks. So when we're keeping score. So then we have pull equals length in question bank. That means how many questions we're pulling out. This is basically like our code for pulling out the amount of questions. And it's the length of question bank divided by 3 times 2. So that'll give us 2/3 out of question bank. Then we have this for loop over here. This for loop is basically putting back, it's basically appending all of the questions it pulls out into used questions. And this runs as many times as we have in, as many times as it pulls, so 6 as well. Something important to remember about this comment is that it has to be divisible by 3, of course, so we can actually divide by 3. And if it's not divisible by 3, we're going to get an error because that means we're trying to do something with a float instead, right? And yeah, so prompt, would you like to attempt the quiz? We were just getting set up for actually writing the code. Then we have, actually, I guess then we were just setting this up for asking questions, right? So let me read this again to make sure I remember. So random, the questions -1, print 0 to length of questions -1. If prompt is Y, use questions A. Okay, so this was for creating the random order. I guess we're just creating a random order that we got each question. And then we're basically setting up if the response is use questions. And remember, it's a list inside a list, so we have to put those 2 square brackets for each one. We print correct, and then they also get 1 point for correct answers. And that's where we left it off. So let's test this out. And also, let's make it so that we print out the number of correct answers. So I'm going to say print. Over here, I'm going to say score. Say score. I'll say comma. Then what should I say? str correct. So we make the variable that's correct answers like that. And it's also just since we've been using this mostly, let's turn that into an addition symbol. So we're just adding to, we're converting correct answers into a string since it's an integer. And yeah, score plus correct answers. And yeah, let's test out this so far. So would you like to come up the quiz? I'll say yes. We see question 7, and to make sure this is working, if we respond with A7, because remember that aligns with over here, question 7 is equal to A7 as well. We should see correct, and then we also see our score of 1. So that's great. So we're going to put that in a for loop first of all, so we can see all the questions. And then we also want to make it so the questions we see are in random order and doesn't pick up the same. So I think where we're going to start changing things is from pretty much over here. But actually, before we even do that, I'm going to copy and paste all of this code we have. I'm going to delete it for now because there's one thing I want to show you guys with the random module. So we're going to import random. And we in Python, let me actually show you an example. I'm gonna create a list, call it A, and it's going to be assigned to strings that hold the value 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so it's just a list that holds 4 ends that are strings, or Python account that says 3, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Gosh, sorry, I think I'm gonna have to sneeze in a second. Anyways, now that we have our list, if I ask you to pull out 2 things from this list, and they must be unique each time, and they also have to be. You can see what I'm trying to say. If I ask you to pull out 2 items from this that should be unique, and it should also be random, which items it pulls out each time, how would you go about doing this? So the current way we would guess to do this would to be like this. We'd say, I'm sure to print it out so we can see the result. I'll say random dot rand int, and we're gonna say 0 to next one. What's it called? Length of A. All right. So it's just gonna pull out a random one from length of A, and also on top of that, actually, I think we need to go like this. It's only much number for us. So we want to go like this. So we're running that once, and maybe let's just say, since I said 2, let's just say we'll run it twice. Just a simple way of doing it for now. So let's save this and run it. Let's out of the index range. Oh yeah, -1. My bad. -1. -1. Save and run. Here we go. So we get 3 and 2 this time, okay? But the problem with this program is that if we run it a lot of times, this is random, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show it. So I'll go again. 3 and 4 that time. 4 and 1. Anyways, what I was going to say is that there we go, right here. So what I was going to say is that the problem with this program is that if just by luck, we can manage to get the same numbers twice in a row. And I told you that both numbers need to be unique, right? So how can we go about to make it so that we pull out only unique numbers? So that's another function within the random module we can use, and it's called this. Random dot, what's it called? I'm forgetting. Random dot sample. It looks like this, okay? So this in here, all we pass is where we want to take the sample from. It's a sequence, so something like a list. And we also pass out how many we want to take out. So for that example with A, if I want to pull out 2 things, or if I want to pull out from A first of all, I'm going to say A, like that. I put a comma so I can pass another argument, and the second argument is how many things I want to pull out from it. So I'm going to pull out 2, like that. And of course, just so we can see our result, I'm going to put this in a print function. Like that. So let's save this and run it, and let's see it happen again. So 2 and 4 that time. 4 and 2. So once again, I'm not going to test this because it's random. But my point is that with this, we will never get 2 numbers that are the same. And it's also a lot simpler to write, right? We just say, so basically what this is saying right here is that we're saying we're going to take a random sample from A, or basically, actually, no, we're saying we're going to take a random sample. It's going to be from A, and we're taking 2 samples total, okay? So if I make this something like 7, let's see what happens. We would get an error. That's because that's more than we even have, right? If I had 7 items in here, or let's just say 8, it could take out all 8. But if I say 3, since we do have 4 items in here, save and run, you see that we're able to pull out 3 random items each. And you can imagine how this is going to be useful for our program. So let's go back to the code we originally had. I think I accidentally uncopied and pasted it. Let's go like that. So I guess that is good. So this is back to where we were. And let's test this out again, and then let's change some things to our program so we can use this instead. So I'm going to save this, run it, just to make sure we know how everything works. Yes, I'd like to attempt the quiz QA. So let's run this again. Say yes, we get Q8 that time. Okay, so that's random and that's working. But now we need to change the part where it pulls out used questions, right? because pretty much what we're doing with used questions is that's going to be equal to that random list we're creating. So up here, instead of adding everything to used questions, I think we can actually remove this whole code completely. Because what we need to technically write is from questions bank, we need to pull out random.sample, and we're pulling out 6, right? Or we can even write out a formula. It's going to be question bank, left hand question bank divided by 3 times 2. So let's try doing that right now. So instead of use questions being to an empty list, it's going to be equal to random dot sample. And remember, first we put in where we're taking it from. So the sample is going to be from question bank. And then comma to separate the arguments. And then I'm going to type in the next thing I want. So we're taking out 6. I could write in 6, or I could write in the formula for 6, which is just pull. So actually, maybe I'll just put pull here as well. And then for pull, that means we're going to have to put it up here like that. So let's space everything out of it. Also move that like that. And let's look at it. So use questions is equal to random sample, question bank, and then it's taken from question bank and it's taken from pull. So pull is equal to 2/3 of it. So let's see. So here we were adding it. I don't think we need this anymore. So let's remove this. And then now let's look at our rest of the period. So would you like to attempt the quiz? We say A equals random. So now we're just pulling out of used questions randomly. So the good thing about this is that when we're taking a random sample, it'll also take it in a random order for us, as we saw in that last example. So what I can do here is that I can even remove this function I had to get something random. So let me make sure this is even correct. We were saying, say, from A equals random, and for these questions -1. I'm trying to remember specifically why I had this code here. Let me just look over it quickly. Print use questions A divided by, or no, print use questions A, and then divided by 0. Okay, so pulling out a question and then showing the question itself, or pulling out a questionnaire and then showing the question, right? So I don't think we need this anymore. And since we don't need that, we also don't need an A here either. So we can fix this up after. I probably have to change a little more things. Questions, response equals input. If response 1 equals use questions 1. Print correct. Correct answers 1. Score string. Okay, let's test this out and see if it works. So, okay. Line 451. Is that what this is? Oh, line 18. Okay, let's see. So let me go like this. Question bank looks good. Question bank looks good. Okay, let's just make sure I don't have a problem with my code here. I'll put 6 instead for now. 6. Run it like this. Would you like to attempt the quiz? I'll say yes. We get question 9 and it prints out A9 as well. So we don't want it to print out both. We only want it to print out 1. So let's kill the program for now. Let's go down here, and then we see that's happening because we're saying print used questions 0. So used questions 0 is still pointing to just the first item in that list. So actually, yeah, we still do need that 1 and stuff. So let me get that back in here. Let's see. Let's just say, yeah, honestly, we can keep this. There's no harm in keeping this here. So let's run it again, test it. Okay, so this is seen as a pull right now, seen as a float. So I'm just going to convert it to an integer like this. And I forgot to do that. Here we go. Save it and run it. And there we go. It's working again. So would you like to attempt the quiz? Yes. We see question 3, and A3 should be the correct answer. And we should see 1 point at the end. Correct. Score is 1. So that looks good. So next, now we need to work on some more things. So last time we just got Q3. Let's run this again and just make sure it's random, actually. So we select the attempt quiz. I'll say yes. We get question 6 now. kill the program. And then lastly, the last thing I want to do is that before we even say would you like to attempt the quiz, let's just actually comment this out quickly. I want to show you how now we're pulling out all random questions. So let's try it. So all I need to do actually is just print out used questions. I wish I was using a proper ID right now so I didn't have to type in each variable name completely. But let's just test this out. Run. We see it prints out each one. So we're getting question 3 here, question 9, question 5, question 1, question 7, question 6. And then I think there's one more if we go full screen. Actually, no, I think this is right. 6 different questionnaires total, and we see the question and answer for each one. So that shows us that now, unlike last time, using random sample, we're able to grab out completely random samples that are all unique. All unique is the most important part because we don't want to see the same question twice on a quiz, right? And yes, we can remove that now, and we can continue on with our program. So pretty much leaving off, what we left off with was pretty much a broken version of this, but now we have the unique feature. So what we need to do is create our for loop for each question. We need to add up the score, and then we just need to divide. So we're pretty much at the easy part now. So let's work on if prompt equal y. So if prompt equal y, we're going to do a for loop in range of used questions. So for, let's just call this questions in what's called use underscore questions. This all needs to be tabbed in. For question and use questions, yeah. We tab all of this in. We're going to say print use question A to 0. Print response. If response equals used question or A1. Just make sure everything looks good. That's good. So actually, yeah, back to this. I don't think we need this here anymore. Let me make sure. So A doesn't need to be equal to something random. It simply just needs to be 1 and 0, right? Let me make sure. Right now we're printing out from used questions. We're printing out A. Used questions A is equal to the first one. So that could be something like Q, right? And we're printing out a 0 from it, right? So, okay, yeah, hey, let's change A from random now, and let's just make it look at that list, and let's make it do each one in the list, okay? So to do that, I think we're also going to use another for loop there. So to describe what's even happening, once again, if this isn't too clear, used questions, we're looking to used questions first with this list, so used questions A. So A is equal to something random. We actually don't need this anymore because we already looked into it. So now we're just pulling up the correct exact order. So let's see. A random int. So yeah, we're not pulling out something random anymore. Let's just say pull out A, and let's actually make A 0. And we'll say A like that. And then once it's up, it's going to add 1 to A, and we're going to basically have this keep running over and over again, if that makes sense. So this will keep going up, but it will keep printing up with correcting. So for questions in used questions, so we know used questions is going to be 6. We're going to print out used questions, which is going to first start off as 0, and then it's going to print the first question in whatever order. Response 1 is going to be equal to input, and then if the user's response is equal to A, and then 1 again, we're going to print correct. We're going to correct answer plus 1, so we're going to give them one more correct answer. And we're going to show the score in the string correct answers as well, or we're going to convert correct answers to a string so we can show that as well. So let's actually go like this. And I'll go, just to make it a little bit less lines, I'll go correct over here. Correct. Score. I'm going to say your answer was correct. I guess that looks good. And I'll do /n2. /n. answer was correct, /n, your new score. And I'm going to print that out. So I think this looks all right. So we don't need correct here anymore. We don't need that to print out twice. Correct answers +1. And then down here, the last thing we should do, or be before that, we'll just say a plus equals 1, right? So let's save that and let's test this out for now. So would you like to attempt this? I say yes. Question 8, I already know the answer is, what's called A8. Answer was correct. Your new score is 1. Question 7, I know that's A7. New score is 2. So our score is working, and we're also getting random questions. Let's just make sure this goes to 6. Question 4, we already know the answer for question 4 is A4. Like that. Answer was correct. Your new score is 3. So our score is saving, and it keeps adding up. That's good. Question 2, A2. Correct. Your new score 4. Question 6, A6. Your answer is correct. Your new score is 5. And this should hopefully be the last question. So question 5 should be A5. And the program ends like that. So let's look over everything, make sure we're following all the correct characteristics. So first of all, Bob said each question, or obviously in a quiz actually, each question should be unique. So we got question 8, question 7, question 4, question 2, question 6, question 5. Actually, yeah, that's all the questions we got. Let me make sure that's 6. Yeah, that's 6 total. So each question was unique. That is check. We also, this isn't done yet, but we also can now keep a score of the program. So you see score 1, score 2, score 3. So let's run this one more time and make sure we don't get a score if we get the question wrong. Actually, right now that I think about it, we don't have any else statement or elif statement for if we don't go the correct answer. So let's make that first, and then let's do that. So I'll say, yeah, let's do that right now. So if, I'm just going to say elif since we're going to give another condition. So elif, I'm just going to copy and paste this exact condition. I'm going to set it not equal to. So remember that symbol for not equal to. So elif, the user's response is not equal to the correct answer, because remember, this basically represents correct answer because use questions is A, and on top of A now we're looking at 1, and then 1, 0, 1 is always going to be the correct answer because we've made it so that 1 in each of the questions is the item 1 is going to be the correct answer. So this represents what we're seeing down over here. Remember, it's just a list and a list. So 1 is 0, 1. This is 1. So elif response 1 equals not equals correct. Now we're just going to create our step. So it looks like this. We can pretty much do whatever we want. So first of all, we know we're not giving them any correct answers. We're going to still add a +1 so we can continue on to the next question. And then we're going to maybe print something out as well. Let's say answer was incorrect. I'll just say score instead of your new score. And let's test this out now. So F5 run. Would you like to attempt the quiz? I'll say yes. So last time when we ran this quiz, we got question 8 as our first question. So what's important is that we do not get question 8 as our first question because Bob kindly asked that we make it so that each question is randomized in order each time. So if we see question 8 first, that means we just got the same thing again, or we don't have that randomized. So let's just make sure. So I'll say yes. And we got question 9 first this time. So that's working properly. The answer to question 9 is A9. We've just set it to like that for now. And then answer was correct. Score is 1. So question 3 now. Let's say question 3 answer is answer 4. Answer was incorrect, and our score stayed the same. So this is more basic stuff once again because we've already dealt with this a lot in the past. We messed with this already. But yeah, also, just because something's spaced out a bit, I want to remove the spaces there. So I'll just go like that. See if that even fixes it since I have it right inside. Say yes. A6. Okay, yeah, so it looks like it works now. Question one, we know the answer is going to be A1. And yeah, so you can imagine we just replace pretty much all of these with actual questions we're going to be answering. So question one, instead of saying that, could be what is what is the day, when is Christmas? I don't know. Just it could be anything, right? So, and then you could also, of course, replace A1 with the answer. So you can make them type in something specific. You can maybe make it so it's a lot of possible options, and then they type in A, B, or C. You can do a lot of things. So yeah, let's just finish this up now. So we're able to get random questions. We asked the number of questions correctly. We randomized the order of questions we see it in. Each question is unique. And lastly, we need to give a final score once they finish up, actually. So, of course, it's going to be outside of the for loop. And now we're going to do this. We're going to say, let's just go, let me see, how do I want to do this? Right now, I'm just deciding how we want to actually print this. So maybe I'll just say print your final score. I'll do /n. And then we're going to do something out here, which is going to be we'll show pull as a string because pull represents the number of questions. So pull is a string. And then another thing that is a string is what do you call it? This doesn't look like a string as it is now. There we go. Pull is a string, and then the next thing that's also a string is what's called correct answers. Like that. So on a final quiz mark, we see the correct answers over the number of questions. And in this case, it should look just like that. So I'll just put this like this. It's like this. So this is just a lazy way of doing this. You can do this in a lot of ways. It's just formatting your string, basically. But I'm just going to go like this. So once again, this is just trying to format the string. At this point, we're not doing anything special. But you could do something special, of course, if you wanted. You could format the string in a specific way. But here, as you can see, I'm just trying to add the strings together. I'm also adding a division symbol in between it. So save that, run it, let's complete the quiz. So I'll say yes, I'm just going to say each question wrong. So your final score is 0 out of 6, and then we also need to convert that to a letter grade now. So that's also an easy part. First, let's just make sure this is formatted right. So this was showing up as a integer. So let's just go like this to make it easier. So I'm converting it to an integer. I'm converting it to a string, and I'm converting it to an integer at the end. Actually, I don't even think that makes sense. Let me do it like this instead. Just get a new variable called out of. It's going to be equal to pull as a int. Now we're just going to basically print out of as a string. So let's just go out of equals str out of. And then pretty much now I just say plus out like that. Save that, let's run it, and let's just test it out. So it looks like we have an extra line down here. Let's go like that, save, run. Make sure. Oh, okay, we don't have it closing that bracket. There we go. Run. Would you like to some quick? I'll say yes. We're going to get each question wrong again. Your final score is 0 out of 6. Now let's get 3 questions right, and let's test it out again. You guys don't want to attempt the quiz. Question 4 answer is A4. Question 7 answer is A7. Answer is Q2. Now let's get the rest wrong. So I'll just type in boom, boom, boom. Your final score, 3 out of 6. So we're pretty much almost done now. So pretty much what we need to do is do letter grades, and that's the end of our program. So yeah, that's the main part. And now let's just save final grade as a variable, and then we'll also we'll just check to see what that's equal to as a letter grade. We can make that letter grade ourselves. So correct answer divided by out of. So let's do that right now. I'm going to say final grade. No, I'll call it letter grade. Letter grade equals correct, and that's going to be divided by let's see, out of, but we need out of before it's a string, so maybe we can even make out of a integer again. So let's just go like this. Actually, let's remove this one, and let's just say str here. Out of. So correct grades, letter grade equals correct answer divided by out of. Let's save that. And now we need to check to see what letter grade is equal to, right? So pretty much what I'm going to do here is I'm just simply going to say if letter grade greater than 90, A, elif, blah, 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 greater than whatever, B, stuff like that, you know? So if letter grade is greater, you know, I'll do two. So I'll use the chain conditional and I'll say if letter grade is greater than 78 and less than 90, do a letter grade for it. So whatever I want, I'm making up the letter grades at this point. Or I can just search it up and see what the actual like provincial letter grades are. So if letter grade is greater than, let's see, what's a B? 75, and I'll search it up quickly. Letter grade. Okay, so it looks like an A is a 93 to 100. So let's do A first. So if letter grade is greater than 93, or sorry, is greater than 93. Actually, yeah, I can just do greater than 93 for this one since it goes up to 100. Letter grade is greater than 93. We're going to print A. And we'll do elif, letter grade. Let's do A minus next. Or let's just skip to B. No, I guess we'll do it. A minus. Elif, the letter grade is, it looks like 90 to 92 is A minus. So it's greater than 90. And 90, and letter grade is less than 92. Say equal to as well, so less than or equal to. It's this way, right? Yeah. Let me make sure. Greater than or equal to symbol to make sure I'm writing correctly. Okay, yeah, I'm writing correctly. Okay, so elif letter grade is less than or equal to 92. For some reason, I feel like it doesn't look right. Let me make sure. Python. Okay, so it looks like it is right. And I'll say greater than or equal to 90, or if it's less than or equal to 92, we'll print A minus like that. And just to make it simple, I'm just going to copy and paste this a couple times, and I'll change it for each one. So A minus, B plus, B B minus, and I can just switch up the numbers with this list I have open. So it looks like this one's the B plus is an 87. I'm looking at, by the way, I'm looking at the United States letter grade system, if you're curious. 87 to 89. I'm not going to do all of them. That'll just take a while. This one's 87 to 89. 83 to 86. E minus is 80 to 82. 80. 82. And this one should be, let's just go up to C. Of course, you can add the rest if you want to, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now. So a B minus is 80 to 82. We already did that. C is, we actually have to do C plus. C plus is 77 to 79, like that. So that's all we're gonna do. And let's check it out. So this answer is gonna be 0.0. So let's also make all of these floats. So this. Oh, okay, yeah. Also, one last thing I also need to do. Actually, we need to do this, but we also need to do times 100 because if we do our grade out of or whatever and we divide that, that's not going to be equal to the correct thing. We do our correct answers divided by grade. That's going to give us a tiny number, but then we need to multiply that by 100. I forgot to say that, or I forgot to even do that at all. So save this. Let's see if this even works. I just tested this right now. I'm guessing something does not close. Okay, yeah, this is not indented correctly. So, okay, guys, okay, this is simple. I'll just drag out each of these like that, and I think that should be good. Let's run it. Now, do the quiz. I'm going to get 2 answers right for this one. So A2, and then this one looks, oh, I totally didn't answer that one. This one's Q8. We can get the rest wrong now, So final score 2 out of 6. And let's see, did I get it to print out a letter grade? No. So let's see, I'm missing something that makes it so it doesn't print out as a letter grade. So let's even see. I want it to print out correct answer to me just so I can see the numbers it's going to be doing next year. So print correct and then also print out of. Save it and let's run it again. Get a thing like that. Now let's run it. I can close this completely and let's run it correctly. Yeah, here we go. Yes, I'm just gonna get everything wrong. So 0, 6, that's good. So it's 0 divided by 6, or let's maybe go like this. F5, yes, Q6, I'll get 2 correct. Actually, I'll get all of them correct. Q6 is A6. No, I'll get 3 of them correct, so we can get a 50, right? Q4, A4, like that. So we get 3 and 6. So what it should be doing here is that it should be doing correct answer. So 6, as we just saw. Actually, drag that down too far. So it should be doing correct answer, which in this case was 3, and then out of, which was out of was 6, and that's 3 divided by 6, which gives us 0.5, and then it should be times 100. So in this case of Python, make sure it did it correctly. So we're saying if letter grade is greater than 93.0. So maybe honestly, let me just try going like this and see if this fixes it. Right now, it's not printing out anything to us, which is a problem. But this is also a simple problem too, so forget. We just close this program over here. There we go. Now you can run it. Yes. A6, A2, the rest wrong. 2, 6, and then the program ends. See. 4. Prints out the correct answer. Letter grade equals correct answer divided by. Okay, let's just go like this. Letter. I think I just have a syntax errors. Letter grade. I'm just gonna make this so it seems as a integer again, because when we divide, we know it gets converted to a float. The letter grade equals letter grade, and then that should be a float, right? And that should be int. Int like that. Save. Run. Let's actually exit out this completely again. And now let's run it. And yeah, so yes, I want a typical code. Let's get 3 correct. A2, A4, A1. The rest get correct. So final score is 3 out of 6. Let's see why this isn't printing now. So we're saying if the letter grade is greater than 93, you're going to print A. Let me see if there's a reason also for why this isn't even running. So let's just say else. Let's see if it's even running the if statement by saying else. So I'll say else. Print something is wrong in the code. At save. Do the syntax error with else. Let's see what that could be. Letter grade and letter grade. Okay, we have a syntax error with else. Let me see what that is. I think I just have a syntax problem with these if statements. Sorry, let me see. This if is inside a yes. Let's try running this again. I'm trying to figure out what my syntax error is. Oh, this isn't closing. Okay. Like that, and then let's close that. Save, run, close completely so you can see your brand new thing. Yes. A5, A4, A8, all the rest incorrect. And then it runs the else. So let's see. Elif letter grade is greater than 90. So there's probably something simple I have around here, but I can't seem to figure it. So if letter grade is greater than 93, letter grade spelled correctly, letter grade is equal to, let me just even test this on my calculator to make sure I don't have something wrong here. Oh, somebody put something in chat. Sorry, I didn't see this earlier. Don't you need to divide correct answer by out of and then multiply to get the letter grade? And correct ans isn't there. Oh, okay, thank you. Let me see what is correct ans a string. Once again, if I'm using a proper ID, I can just see this stuff. I thought correct answer was already a string. That's why I didn't put integer there. I don't think I need to convert it. Let me make sure, actually. Out of is an integer of pull, so that's 6. Correct answer. Let me just do something. Okay, one sec. Okay, let's test this out. I'm going to replace letter grade with another. I'm going to create another variable called a. And it's going to be equal to 50. Or no, it's going to be equal to 97. So if this F statement is working at all, it should print A, right? So let's test this out. So this is going to be A. This is going to be A. This is going to be A. A. Okay, sorry, it's taking a bit of time. Let's see. Yes, I'm not going to put anything correct. Okay, so yeah, it does print out A. So it's something wrong with my code. So the if statement is working because we got A here when you're in this. So just in case if there's something wrong with the letter grade code, maybe I'll try what you said is the correct answer. I think is already a string. Let me make sure. Did I ever make correct answer a string? Only over here. Letter grade. So the A was working. So let's just test this one last time. I'm just gonna say letter grade or A equals letter grade. Just so I can say the word letter grade like that. Save it, run it. Yes. 0 out of 6, 0 out of 6, 0 out of 6. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna quickly see if I can just change it because I'm not too sure what I'm doing wrong here. And I'll just put int in both of them like you suggested. And again, yes. Were we even getting a mark of? Oh. If we were only getting, if we were only getting 3 correct, that means we would only get a mark of 50. And I didn't go that low to show if something happened if we got 50. So let's get a perfect mark and let's see if it works. I think it was just because I literally wasn't putting in the right thing. Let me try. Yes, I'm going to attempt the quiz. Question 3 is A3. So I'm going to get a mark that's higher than 90. I'll just get perfect. A9, A2, A5, A8, A1. Okay, so it looks like the program was working. To show, sorry for that time delay, I guess. So the program was working. To show what I was doing wrong, if you remember earlier, I was saying I was going to be lazy and I wasn't going to put in all the ones for each letter. So we only went to if it was below 70. And when I was doing my test runs, I wasn't even getting a grade of 77 at all, right? I was getting lower because I was saying I wanted to get 3 out of 6, which is a 50. So right now it runs the else because else is anything that's not any of these. So if I decided to continue making this long chain and I made it go all the way down to like a D-, I'd then probably be getting a grade for each one. But right now it's only going to do it if it's up to 77. So if I wanted to, I could just add the rest. Honestly, yeah, sure. We have a bit of extra time. I'll just add the rest and then we'll see it running perfectly. So it looks like there's nothing wrong with the program. Let me remove all of this other stuff I added. Let me see, was this actually needed? No, this was not needed. That's my bad. Okay, so yeah, let's just do the rest quickly. And then we will get, That's like the right way it should be, but we just put it right. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this a couple times, and I'll replace the numbers. And yeah, let's see. So B minus, C plus, C, C minus. Then we do C plus. One more to do. Thank you for the help. Thank you for the help. C plus, C, A minus. The reason that I didn't try that incorrect answer thing is because I already knew that correct answer was already an integer, so I never changed it. So D minus, and then let me put in the correct letter grades, and that'll be the end. Sorry for the sniffling. 6 is 60 to 62, which is 66 to 63. B plus is 67 to 69. This one's 72 to 70. 76 to 73. So it looks like there's actually a pattern to the letter grades this one. 76. 73, and then the rest makes sense. And then we have an else if it's anything lower than a D minus. So then else we print F like that. Fail. So this is just copying the letter grade system in the United States. So that looks good. Let's run this, and then that's pretty much the end. So yes, question 5 is A5, A9, and let's get the rest incorrect. So now we should be failing. And yeah, we failed. And also this 2-6 thing we have over here, I can remove that as well, since that was just when I was trying to play around and test to see the code. So let's see what that is. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. So now let's test to get let's get a 5 out of 6. Yeah, I want to do the quiz. A8, A7, A1, A3. How many questions we answered? A2, and I get this one incorrect. So we got a B for this one because we only got 5 out of 6. But yeah, so that's pretty much the program complete now. The order is random as well. We got unique questions, and yeah, everything looks good. So with that being said, if there are no questions, that's pretty much all I had planned for today, just to finish up this program. One last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share a Google document that just contains the code for this, I guess, if you want to go look at it yourselves. And yeah, that's pretty much wrapping up. So let me just get in here quickly so I can share something with you guys. So go over here. I'll just put it in the same document where I had quiz program. Copy and paste all this code. And share now. Once again, sorry for the sniffling. I apologize. Copy link, done. And this should be it. So let me put this link in chat. Okay, there we go. So it's sent. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining me throughout this entire camp for all the, I guess, 11 days now that we did this for. I just want to say you did a really good job. You guys learned very, very fast. If you really think about it, all you did was give an hour every Saturday. Sometimes it was less than an hour. Yeah, all we really did was give an hour every Saturday for 11 Saturdays. And yeah, we've come really far with our knowledge in Python. So this is pretty much the last camp day for this rotation. And what I recommend for you next, if you still want to continue with this program, We have another camp that's still dedicated to Python, but it's oriented around building games with graphical interfaces. It's not led by me, it's led by another mentor. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things happening there. You can build some really cool games with like proper graphical interfaces. Because the thing about standard Python, like when you're just learning it, everything you do and everything we've been doing is just located in like this shell, right? We're located in a console or a shell and it's just text with a black background. But with like that other camp, you learn how to create GUIs, so graphical user interfaces. So you can create like desktop applications, like proper games with proper screens, the ones that you actually play, you know? And yeah, so I recommend you check out that camp if you enjoyed this one and you like Python. Once again, it's oriented completely around game design. And yeah, so thank you for joining me, everybody. If you just give me more advice if you really liked Python. There are a lot of modules to go out and explore. If you want to get into machine learning with Python, there are modules for that. If you want to get into like creating web bots that like do things online, like bots that like surf the web, I guess, or like web scrapers is what they call them. You can do that with Python. So you can do a lot of cool things with Python. It's just learning those right modules. So I don't think this is all there is to Python. This is just learning basic Python, because to go out and learn all these other things that you can do with Python that you always hear about on the news and stuff, it requires you to just have a basic understanding of Python. And by completing this camp, you've gained that now. So I hope you guys have fun with whatever you're trying to do. So no problem. Yeah, if you don't know where to go next with Python, but you want to continue with it, my recommendation maybe is to maybe go look into, I wouldn't say machine learning. Machine learning is very, very complicated. It requires knowledge outside of Python, like just understanding other things like neural networks and other things like that. And maybe try looking into stuff like web scrapers, building your own web scraper, so a bot that can do things online. So for example, you can build one of those bots people have that like scrape graphics cards off the market, since those are really high in demand right now. You can do that with Python. Or you could go on and learn how to build games with Python with proper interfaces. So it's actually like a proper box and it's not text in the console. It's like real game. So yeah, so just go out, go explore, have fun. And once again, really, really thank you for joining me. You guys were great. So with that being said, that is the end of this Python camp. So once again, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can contact me via Discord. If you're on that Discord server, the Learn With Me Discord server, you can contact me there. And yeah, so thank you guys, and I'll hopefully hear from you guys soon. See you guys around.